Hi there, gorgeous screenwriters and filmmakers. So I wanted to come on to talk about the writer's strike and how you can actually use this time in a very constructive and powerful way so that it's not a terrible thing in your life and you don't look back at it and think, oh my God, I just lost all that time and it was terrible. But you actually turn it into your golden opportunity to take your career to a whole new level. Now, the reason that I'm coming to you and speaking to you in this way is because I was around and I was working as a screenwriter during the last writer's strike, which was in the end of 2007 into 2008. And at the time, I was 100% making my living as a screenwriter. I had sold my first screenplay in 2005, the very end of 2005. 2006, 2007, I was living in Los Angeles. I was working as a screenwriter. I was always either, doing something like on an assignment. I got hired by John McTiernan, the director of Die Hard, to write a couple of scripts. I got hired by another producer to write a horror script. I got hired by somebody else to write a romantic comedy. So I was like doing assignments. And when I wasn't actually doing the assignments, I was also always hustling for my next job. Many of you will relate to this. And so when the writer's strike came along, it was a bit of a shock because it was like, oh my gosh, what now? And I remember actually the week, it was just before the writer's strike, that in the rush to sort of get projects solidified, what happened was, weirdly, 3 of the projects that I had worked on that seemed absolutely set up and ready to go fell apart. And it was totally devastating to me. So what happened was I used the time in the writer's strike, first of all, to write a script for myself. And this was the most beautiful, powerful thing. I thought, okay, I can't hustle for work. I can't go out there and try to get work. So what I'm going to do is actually spend time to write a script that I love and that I want to do. And I hadn't really had that gift for 3 years. 3 years where I was working and I was just doing assignments, working for other people, writing scripts for work. And it was really like, oh my God, this is this golden opportunity to write something that's just for me and to actually take time to make it beautiful. Now, as I was writing that script, and the script was called Obsoletia, it's a word that I made up. It means the encyclopedia of obsolete things. So as I was writing that Obsoletia, I slowly realized that I wanted to make it. And what I realize now is I set the seeds during the writer's strike for such an incredible thing to happen later in my life. Because what happened was I wrote that script and the writer's strike was still going on when I started to actually plan how I was going to make it into a movie. And I want to offer this to you right now as the writer's strike continues. Sure, you cannot go out and hustle for jobs. You can't be raising money. You can't be going to producers. But what you can be doing is, 1, writing what you're passionate about, and 2, planting the seeds and preparing the soil so that when this thing is over, you can go straight to work and you're ready to make your movie. Now, I believe there is only one way to guarantee that you get your script made. And the one way to guarantee that you get your script made is to decide to make it yourself. And that is what I did with my film Obsoletia. So I had gone through this process of selling scripts and getting them set up, and I was pretty proud of myself for that, but they weren't getting made. And I had reached this point that you might be at where I was like, I just want to see my work on the screen. I want to see how it lands with an audience. I want to see if it's really working. I want it to have a life, not just be something that's on a hard drive that we develop and talk about and develop and talk about, and it never gets made. I want it to be out there. And so that's why I decided to make my film. Making my film was the best decision I ever made as a screenwriter. And just to be clear, when I decided to make my film, I had not been to film school. I had not made a short film before. I had not made a commercial, a music video. I hadn't made anything before. But I just decided I'm going to make this movie. And it was the best decision of my life. Because what happened was I raised the money. I raised $140,000, which may seem a lot to some of you. You might be like, oh my God, that's so much money. And to others of you, you might be like, that's a tiny amount of money to raise for a movie. But either way, that's what I raised. And subsequently, I made that film and it got into the Sundance Film Festival, into the US narrative competition, which is like the holy grail for filmmakers. And it actually won 2 awards there. It went on to play at festivals all around the world and was ultimately nominated for 2 Independent Spirit Awards, including one for the screenplay, best screenplay. So this all happened because I chose to make my movie. I decided to take that power into my own hands. So if you're sitting here right now as a screenwriter, feeling frustrated with the strike, 2 things. 1, work on your scripts. See this as a gift. See this as a blessing. See this as an opportunity. And two, if you already have a script that you love and you're like, this would be a great movie, and actually maybe I could do this myself, do it. Start planting the seeds right now. There are so many things you can do right now to get this set up so that when the writer's strike ends, the actor strike ends, you are ready to go. And let me tell you, people are going to be dying for content. This is exactly what happens. So you want to get your ducks in a row so you can really capitalize on this. If this is calling to you and you're like, man, I think I do want to make my own movie, I want to invite you into the Shoot from the Heart Filmmaking Academy. This is a program that I created. It's from my book of the same name, and you might be familiar with my book. You can check it out on Amazon. It's a best-selling book called Shoot from the Heart as well. And this program will guide you through every step of making your film successfully. It is an epic course. It's an absolutely incredible resource for anyone who wants to make a film. It is hands down the most practical, actionable guide that you will find to actually making your movie. Not talking about you're making your movie, not fannying about like trying to make your movie, but actually doing it. I break it down and make it so simple. It's like a Lego instruction manual. It's literally like, do this, do this, do this. And if you just keep checking it off, you will get it done. So I'm opening the doors to the Shoot from the Heart Filmmaking Academy. And what I'm doing is that for just a couple of days, you can get 50% off the normal price of it. This is my gift to you. So if you're feeling this calling to like get your movie done, like you're like, okay, I want to use this strike time. I want to learn how to like get my budget done. I want to get my schedule done. I want to like plan my shoot. I want to like do all the things so that I can actually make this movie. I want to like create everything. And there's so much work that goes into the planning, the prepping that you can be doing now, even while the strike is happening. If that is you and that is calling you, right now go to dianebell.com/academy. and use the code MOVIE24 because in 2024, you could be premiering your movie. Think about that. I want to share with you, I went from being a filmmaker just with a script and a dream. I mean, I wasn't even a filmmaker. I was a screenwriter. I was a screenwriter with a script and a dream. And in 1 year, I went from being that to actually premiering my movie at Sundance. I know it's possible. And if you want to do that, if you're like, okay, let's look ahead to 2024. Right now, we're stuck in the strike, but next year, things will be back to normal. And I want to be ready to go, and I want to get my movie out there, and I want to be like taking my career to a whole new level. dianebell.com/academy and use the code MOVIE24. Don't waste this time. Stay focused on where you want to go. Stay focused on what you really desire, what excites you, what your mission is, what your movie is that you want to get out into the world. Stay focused on it all, and let's set you up now to create epic success as the strike comes to an end and you move forward. So dianebell.com/academy and then use the code MOVIE24. This is only going to be on sale for 2 days. After that, you'll still be able to join, but it will be back to its normal price. So 2 days, 50% off, go. See you in there. Let's make your movie.